In the last video, we covered trigger nodes in n8n, and this video will be covering action nodes with example. Action nodes, by definition, is something wherever we want to perform any kind of tasks inside our workflow, we do it with the help of a node, which usually is an action node. For example, if I want to send an email, I have to use an action node for that. Let's just say I want to send some kind of message on my Telegram. I have to connect my Telegram with my n8n, and I have to use some kind of node which allows me to send some kind of message on Telegram. Likewise, if I want to have some kind of HTTP request, I want to fetch some kind of data. For that also we have some kind of action nodes provided inside n8n. We're going to cover different types of them with examples. So don't worry. I'm not saying I'm going to cover all of the examples which I have listed here, but yes, few of them definitely. And by the end of this video, you will be clear with what action nodes are. All right. So let's get back to our canvas. We all are aware of trigger nodes. And so for this time, I'm going to just go with trigger manually. And if you haven't watched the first video, go watch it. As I told you in the last video, that this will be a series of videos on n8n. All right. So this is my trigger node. And now let's just take an example for some kind of action node. Well, let's just say I want some kind of email to be sent. So for that, I can have Gmail, or I can have different type of other emails as well. I also have Outlook here. I can also use Outlook, but the ultimate point is that we have to connect our account on n8n, right? We have to give some permissions, which we did in the last video for our Gmail. So I'm gonna do that only. And as you can see here, we have a list of actions, and these are the different types of action nodes for Gmail. So in here, in this list, you can see this send a message, right? This is one type of action which we can perform. So let me click here, and as you can see, an account is already connected here, and that is just because we did this in the last video where I also showed you how to connect your Gmail with n8n, right? So in here there are resources, and let's just keep the things they are. I'm gonna send this to myself. Subject would be, well, something like hello world, right? And the message would be, this is action. Okay, so let's just test this step. And something happened. Okay, so I have this message here which says hello world, this is action. And it also comes with some kind of auto-generated message through the platform of n8n. Well, you can also remove this. I forgot to show this in the last video. So inside add options, you just have to turn off this setting, right? And that's it. If I test this again, I hope I won't be seeing that auto-generated message again. Well, yes, this has gone. Perfect. So this is what an action node looks like, but this was very simple for you guys. Let's just make it a little more complicated, and let's just increase the scope of this video by covering some different kind of examples. So let me delete this node, and let's just have another kind of node. Okay, let's just say I want to append data to a sheet. I have these different nodes. So like we have document actions where you can create some kind of spreadsheet and you can delete a spreadsheet, but we have also another set of operations which we can perform, actions which we can perform, which can be performed within a sheet which is already there. We just have to connect that to our n8n, and we can perform actions like creating a sheet, deleting it, or appending row in a sheet. So all those things can be done. Okay, let's just take append or update row in sheet. For that, again, I have to connect my account with n8n. Okay, this is done. We have connected our account. It will be closed automatically, which just happened. And then there is one thing which is known as resource. So currently we want it to be sheet within the document, and what kind of operation. So you can change the operation from here as well. Let's just say you decided to go with append or update, but eventually you realize, you just want to append row. You don't want any other kind of action to be performed. So you can change that from these settings here, right? You don't have to go back in that list. You don't have to again select another node, right? Okay, the moment I'm going to click on this drop down, there'll be a list shown here, which is directly coming from the account we have connected. Okay, so I'm going to go with n8n simple, and if I just click here simply, so you will be seeing that there is the sheet which is opening, and this is the exact sheet which we'll be making changes on, right? Which we connected through account. Okay, so now this was the document. Got it. There can be multiple sheets, right? Currently there is only just one sheet, so we also have to make sure that we choose the correct sheet. As you can see here, I have one sheet which will be connected. Okay, let me just zoom in a little bit. the operation says that I want to append another row inside my data. So appending one row means I'll be adding data inside the sheet, right? So now what initend did the moment I selected the sheet, I had this mapping column mode. And in that we have two options. One is map each column manually, and then the other one is map automatically, right? What it does is it fetches the data and it sees that what columns do we have. We have sample, we have names, we have 3 and 4. Well, from where this data is coming. So this is coming from here. Sample, names, 3, 4. Okay. So this is how this data is coming. Now let's just say I want to add another piece of data. For sample, I'm gonna be adding testing, and let's just test this step. So fine, we can see some kind of output here. It says that node executed successfully. Let's just see in our sheet. Well, perfect. So we can see that that data got appended here. So this is what action node can do. Now let's just take another example here. I'm not going to delete this node, but I'm going to delete just the connection. Okay. And we also have something known as HTTP request. Okay. So this node is something where you provide an API and we can hit that API to fetch the data or to send the data, whatever that API demands, right? I have one API here, which is random user. Now, what happens when I access this API is that it generates this fake data of a random user, So now I can also do that. I can access this piece of data inside our workflow using initend. How to do that? Well, simply using this API inside our URL here. So this is the setting which we have to change. We have to provide the URL. Authentications, well, there are no authentications, thankfully, and there are no query parameters or headers or body. We are not sending something, right? We are just receiving it. We just have to hit this. Okay. Otherwise, if you want to send some kind of body, you can enable this and you can send the body, right? So there are things you can do here. You can play around based on whatever API you're using. I'm going to use this random user API, which you can find on API Feni. I have used this for example. You can go ahead with your own API, right? So let me just test this step. And as you can see, I can see some kind of data here. And let me just change it to JSON. And you can see that this data is similar to what we can see here, right? So fine, we have the data. Now let's just say I want to save this. So this is also some kind of action. This is also an action node. This is another action node. And what a workflow is a series of actions performed in a sequence to make sure that a task is automated, right? That's what the whole workflow is used for. Okay. So let me just do a simple thing. Let me connect this node to my Google Sheets. And what I want to do here is that whatever data is coming, for example, we can see gender, we can see location, we can see email, login, date of birth, phone, cell, right? What I want is I just want to store certain fields of data inside my sheet, right? So how to do that? Well, very simple, guys. I just have to go here, right? And because we have already executed this step, right? I can see that inside my input area, right? Let's just say you cannot see any kind of data here. Then what you have to do is, okay, let me just save this and let me reload this once. Mind one thing, if you do not save your workflow status, it'll be gone, right? So let's just say if I want to access the data which I'm getting from the HTTP request, I want that inside my Google Sheets, right? How to do that? So for that, as you can see, previously we had some kind of input, but now we don't. So for that, what we have to do is we have to execute the previous nodes. Once that is done, I can see a list of things, and this part will be amazing, guys. So let's just say inside my sample field, I want the email of this user. Now you can view your data like this. There are different ways. Schema is the best. Why? I'm going to show you. So let me just simply remove this thing, and this time what I want to do is I want this data to be dynamic, right? This was static. I'm gonna simply drag this here. Perfect. Well, this is a new thing, right? So that's how you can connect one node with the another node. You can use some input from some node and give it for processing, for saving, for executing, for sending, whatever the action is for to the next node, right? Now what this is, right? This is little confusing. Okay, let me just explain this. So this is jQuery, by the way. We don't have to type any piece of code here. There are two ways you can send data. Once you have already seen, which is piece of string, which is fixed data, right? and the other one is an expression. So as you can see here, the expression thing is enabled, and here a fixed piece of data is enabled. So there are two ways. Expression is something which is used for sending or receiving dynamic piece of data. Fixed is, as the name suggests, it's a fixed piece of data which we can use, right? Inside name, let me just send something else. I'm gonna send username. Okay, so let me just send this here, and cautiously I'm gonna remove this James, right? So as you can see in this preview box, I can see the data which will be sent to my Google Sheet, right? Inside 3, let's just keep it the way it is, right? And let's just test this step. Okay, fine. So this got executed, and let me see. Okay, we can see, so it got appended, right? That's what the action was. Let me just test this whole workflow for once. Okay, the HTTP request got executed, and now we are on the Google Sheets, and that is also executed. Let's just go back, and as you can see, a different piece of data in here. See, it is different this time, right? Because the HTTP request got executed, right? Every time we can see a different set of data. That's how this API is working. So that's how action nodes are. I mean, there are different kind of nodes. With the help of different kind of action nodes, we create a meaningful workflow, right? That's what the whole process of n8n is, right? So I hope you're clear with what action nodes inside n8n are. I mean, you can explore plenty different options. I have a video where I have created a complete workflow. You can watch that as well. If you click on the I button currently showing on the screen, that video is all about Telegram automation, how we can simply create a bot without one single line of code. Basically, in that video, I created a resume reviewer, a Telegram bot which reviews your resume. That is something which I created completely with the help of n8n, no coding at all. So it was just amazing. I hope we are clear with action nodes, and until then, happy learning. I'll meet you in the next video.